Right now on Hoosier News Source, sexual assault is still on the rise with almost a week remaining in the semester. And find out how the university will help you schedule a booster shot.
And I have a look at some weekend rain chances as well as our IU men's basketball game day forecast. Hoosier News Source starts now.
Hello and welcome to the season finale of Hoosier News Source. I'm Jack Lindner. 39. That's the total number of sexual assault reports on IU Bloomington's campus this semester. Yesterday, IUPD added another reported rape at Delta Upsilon fraternity that occurred this past September. Earlier this week, IUPD also added a reported rape to the crime log that occurred at Teeter Quad on December 3rd. 2 more sexual assaults happened at Eigenman Hall earlier in the semester. The first was a sexual battery that was reported on November 20th, but said to have occurred on October 30th. The second was a rape that reported on November 29th, but said to have occurred on August 22nd. As people across the country continue to get vaccines and booster shots for COVID-19, a new strain of the virus is raising concern. The Omicron variant, which was first detected in South Africa, has quickly spread throughout the world and is now confirmed to be in at least 15 U.S. states. Multiple countries have once again enforced travel restrictions due to its rapid spread. Scientists are now trying to figure out whether or not current vaccines are effective against this new variant. Doctors say the best way to protect yourself from the new variant are booster shots, and the additional dose is coming to IU. Booster shots have been approved for anyone who is fully vaccinated and over the age of 18. Dr. Aaron Carroll reported that the university is working on providing clinics in Bloomington that will provide booster shots for anyone who meets the criteria. These locations are scheduled to be open next week. Dr. Carroll explained that these clinics will look different than the campus-provided vaccines in April.
And of course, boosters are available, in a variety of places. It's not like it was back in April where there were no shots and we had to do this. So the answer is yes, we are. But it probably won't be as extensive and going on for weeks because, of course, we're approaching the end of the semester.
The university will provide more information in the coming weeks. Well, button up Hoosiers, it's cold out there as we enter finals week. Caroline Klare joins us with the forecast. Caroline?
Thanks, Jag. Precipitation chances return this weekend, as you can see here, guys, with a cold front going to be heading through overnight Friday into Saturday morning, bringing rain chances over here to the Midwest and even going up into the Northeast. We can see here with this purple blob here, have a little bit higher rain chances, maybe even reaching into Monroe County over the start of this weekend. Fortunately, a dry day is anticipated for our IU men's basketball game against Merrimack this Sunday. As you head out to the stadium, 36, a little chilly out. You might want to grab a coat as you head out the door. Game time, you can check it out on the Big Ten Network, or if you are going to the game, 42 and sunny. Going to be a beautiful day. A little bit chilly as you're leaving the stadium, about 45 degrees. Now let's take a look at what we can expect for the rest of the week. Beautiful day on Wednesday and Thursday as we go into the weekend, increasing temperatures as well as some increasing chances for precipitation. Now as we head into early next week, higher temperatures are continuing and sun is coming back out. Going to be a beautiful start to next week. Stay dry this weekend and good luck studying for finals week. On a more personal note, after doing the weather for Hoosier News Source since October of my freshman year, this will be my final newscast as I will be graduating next week. I'm very grateful for this opportunity and I hope that my forecasts were informative to all. For the last time, Jack, back to you.
Thanks, Caroline. Everyone here at IUS TV will miss you very much. Coming up on Hoosier News Source after the break, the latest on international news and the final nights of Hanukkah interrupted by anti-Semitic vandalism. Welcome back to Hoosier News Source. And now for the latest in international news. Olivia Oliver is here in studio from the latest on the news and around the world. Olivia?
Thanks, Jack. Starting in Asia, a volcano erupted over the weekend in Indonesia. The volcano erupted this past Saturday, killing at least 22 people and leaving dozens still missing. The volcano, Mount Semeru, was active again on Monday and has continued to shoot out clouds of ash over the past few days. Recovery and rescue efforts are underway, but weather conditions and the amount of ash has made it difficult for first responders. Indonesian government officials have warned residents in the area to be careful as more seismic activity is possible. Violent protests in India resulted in 7 deaths. The protests erupted after security forces mistakenly ambushed civilians on Saturday night near the Myanmar border, killing 8 coal miners returning home from work. The soldiers allegedly mistook the civilians as part of a separatist group India has been fighting with. Locals heard about the ambush through social media and took to the streets in protest, even setting military vehicles on fire. 1 soldier and 6 more civilians were killed during the clash. The Biden administration announced big news with 2022 Winter Olympics around the corner. The White House said it will boycott the 2022 Winter Olympics in Beijing. The Biden administration said they wanted to send a clear message regarding China's alleged forced labor, genocide, and human rights abuses of minority groups like the Uyghur Muslim population. U.S. athletes will still be allowed to compete, but no official U.S. delegation or government officials will be sent to Beijing. Lastly, before we wrap up what's going on around the world, we're reporting on something closer to home. Tragedy hit Oxford, Michigan last week in a deadly school shooting. The parents of the suspect in the Oxford High School shooting are facing involuntary manslaughter charges. The charges come after their 15-year-old son, Ethan Crumbley, is accused of fatally shooting 4 of his fellow classmates last Tuesday. James and Jennifer Crumbley were called into the school office the day of the shooting and were told their son's behavior had become concerning. Prosecutors say the 2 then did not do enough to locate the gun their son later used and allegedly resisted taking him home from school that day. Everyone here at IUS TV is keeping the Oxford community in our thoughts. Jack, back to you.
This past weekend, an IU freshman discovered swastika graffiti in downtown Bloomington. HNS reporter Elizabeth DeSantis talked to members of Chabad House who didn't let the vandalism affect the last nights of Hanukkah.
Student members of Chabad Jewish Center discovered the Nazi swastika symbol on a building near 6th and Lincoln Street.
Immediately we thought, we're not going to be upset about this, what can we do? So Rabbi Levy suggested, let's go over there and let's do a menorah lighting. So we're like, okay, let's do it.
Chabad House's Rabbi Levi Kunin organized a menorah lighting at the site of the vandalism. Students also helped paint over the graffiti at the lighting.
We're going to light a menorah, and we are going to make a statement that we are not going to be afraid. The students at IU are strong, and we will not be afraid because we will show them that we are proud, and this is full of love.
To Rabbi Levi, the menorah lighting was the perfect way to demonstrate the spirit of Hanukkah.
This is what the menorah and Hanukkah teach us. This holiday teaches us when you see darkness, the response of the menorah is not to cry and not to be sad. The response is to add another candle.
IU freshman Sophia Newman discovered the graffiti on her way to class. She says that Chabad's response to the vandalism shows the resiliency of the Jewish community.
I think it really shows how the Jewish people respond to acts of hate. We've been persecuted and targeted since the beginning of time, and yet we choose to be stronger. We choose to be unified. We choose to persevere, and that's why we are the way that we are. That's why we are this, strong culture and strong community.
For Hoosier News Source, I'm Elizabeth DeSantis.
There have been 2 other reports of swastika vandalisms in Bloomington this week. Chabad House Rabbi Levi says that the site of the Lincoln and 6th Street vandalism will be the location for next year's Hanukkah menorah lightings as well. IU football had a rough season, but the men's and women's IU basketball teams are looking pretty good. Our sports reporter Kara Adams is here with all the details on Hoosier Sports. Kara?
Thanks, Jack. It was a busy weekend in IU sports, but to start it off, junior Michael Penix has entered the transfer portal. After 2 successful seasons for the Hoosiers, Penix will look to take his talents elsewhere. IU men and women's swim and dive team had a successful weekend, with both teams defeating Cincinnati in a dual meet this past weekend. Both teams will have a long break before another meet, as their next meet isn't until Michigan in Ann Arbor on January 8th. The Indiana men's basketball team fell to Syracuse at the Carrier Dome 112-110 in double overtime. While it was an unfortunate loss, there were definitely a lot of positives the Hoosiers took out of it. This past Saturday, the Hoosiers got back on track, defeating Nebraska 68-55 in their first Big Ten game of the season. They head to Madison, Wisconsin to take on the Badgers tonight. A win in Madison will be the Hoosiers' first win there since 1998. The Indiana women's basketball team had a tough loss to now ranked number 2 NC State last Thursday, but they got back on track this past Monday with a 70-40 win over the Penn State Nittany Lions. They will take on Fairfield tomorrow night at 7 p.m. at Assembly Hall. That's all for IU Sports. Jack, back to you.
Kara, and thank you for watching the season finale of Hoosier News Source. To learn more about this week's stories, you can find us on Instagram and Twitter at IUSTV News. I'm Jack Lindner from Bloomington, Indiana. We'll see you next season.